I always love using underutilized Pokemon, so when I was scrolling Poke Community for interesting ROM hacks, a certain one caught my eye. I saw Wishy Washy White by Lenora, a White 2 Trashlocke hack. I decided to download and play it, and it was really fun and harder than I initially thought. In this hack, Vanilla White 2's wild encounters are replaced with all sorts of mediocre to bad Pokemon from all 5 generations. Gym leaders and Elite 4 trainers have their challenge mode teams as well for more difficulty. This video is going to have my 5th run as well as some thoughts on the hack in general. I'm doing a hardcore Nuzlocke, the rules are on the screen, pause the video if you want. The 3 starters are Slugma, Paris, and Clamperl. I start off my journey choosing Clamperl. I had 4 losing attempts trying Paris and Slugma, which unfortunately just suck. They have pretty much no offensive or defensive power and make the game very difficult at first. The first leader, Sharon, only has 4 possible encounters, so there's pretty much no room for error. A lot of Nuzlockes have at least 6 Pokemon to use versus the first gym, but like I said, you have maximum 4 encounters versus Sharon and 5 possible versus Roxy. On my earlier attempts, Crit Tackle will usually just kill a Pokemon instantly. Sharon also spams Work Up and then Tackle, which is pretty much unwallable. The other normal type trainers in the gym were also challenging. However, Clamperl gets Iron Defense and when equipped with an Oranberry, pretty much clean sweeps Sharon by just boosting his defense so high. I thought I knew Ball and that Slugma and Paris would be way better because they have sleep moves and other useful moves, but you simply just need to have a lot of Pokemon versus Roxy, and Clamperl is the best way to do this. Right away versus Roxy, I'm just loving how much I'm using underutilized Pokemon and strategies. I start out using Bide Kricketune to trade versus Coughing. Grimer comes out next, and I just throw a bunch of frustrations to get damage on it. The Beedrill I encountered as a Weedle in the Verbank plant is actually very solid versus this gym because it resists poison. Whirlpeed is a star of the show from Roxy's team and is pretty bulky and can completely snowball out of control with rollout, but Iron Defense Clamperl has another good matchup here. I'm able to win just sacking Kricketune, which is a complete win considering how hard this gym is and Sharon were with the other starters. Clamperl's like the only pickable start if you don't have to steer the entire early game. There are a bunch of other cool Pokemon at this point like Barrel. Not all the wild encounters were trash, but getting these is super unreliable, and there's also Pokemon like Smeargle and Delibird that are completely unusable. To be honest, I played Berg and Elisa on my phone, so I don't actually have the footage of those fights, but they were long and kind of boring anyway, so I'm going to just show you my party after them. This is my team after Berg. His Levani had Grass Whistle and honestly amazing coverage with Grass, Bug, and Aerial Ace. Like pretty much nothing in this game walls that, especially considering how many bug types you get that are weak to Aerial Ace. If the Levani gets a crit, it gets a kill. I was also really sad to lose Beedrill considering it gets Toxic Spikes, which is such a broken move. In my previous run I got Onix in the Relic Passage, which pretty much soloed Elisa. However, I have almost no electric counters besides the Pachirisu that I got on the route by the drawbridge. I gave it Dig and Leftovers and expected it to kinda carry, but it was honestly a team effort. The MVP was actually Black Sludge Dustox, who used 31 moves. This fight was pretty hard, but I escaped only sacking my Mawile. Clay and Skyla were free and I beat them deathless. There's just too many encounters I have that are hostile to ground and flying Pokemon, not to mention I have more Pokemon than these trainers as well. I'm also completely fine letting go of Pokemon like Masquerain that just aren't essential to my long-term run. Against Clay, his only threat is an Excadrill without Sword Stance. Cacturne put in some work, and the combination of Masquerain's Intimidate and Imposter Ditto's resistance to all its moves except the ground let me weaken the Excadrill and spam Intimidate on it so that Clamperl could 1v1 it. Versus Skyla, I Volt Switched, then Volt Switched, then Volt Switched, then Power Gemmed a few times, then Volt Switched. GG. At this point, I got a Wynot whose evolution I delayed so that I could get an Encore Wobbuffet. It's basically my plan B, and I'm pretty sure it got patched out of the newer versions of the game. Drayden in my previous run wasn't hard, but Dragon types don't have actual counters. I let a Seadra that I got in Verbank City and just spam Blizzard versus Dredagon and Flygon. Versus Altaria, I have Power Gem Grumpig to wall it out and hit it super effectively. I bait the Altaria into using a Super Potion and finish it off with Weezing, who has a much better matchup into Haxorus than Grumpig does. After Wobbuffet gets Dragon-tailed in and uses Charm, Weezing wins the fight. I have to say, Black and White 2 was a perfect game for a Trashlocke, not only because of the Pokemon variety, but because of the normal NPC trainers actually being somewhat difficult. They don't usually have very many Pokemon, but the Pokemon that they do have are good with good moves. I had a lot of key deaths on random trainers in this game, and fuck triple battles, no I did not know that flying types can hit all targets. RIP Butterfree, you could have destroyed the game with Compound Eye, Sleep Powder, and Quiver Dance Cheese. I actually had problems versus Marlin in a previous run, but it was free this time. I'm able to just spam electric moves like Volt Switch and grass moves like Seed Bomb. Grumpig is once again able to wall a special attacker while doing damage back. Quagsire is able to easily beat Carracosta, and I Toxic Stall Jellicent, the last Pokemon. The next hard fight is Kyurem White and Ghetsis back to back. Versus Kyurem White, I'm able to Toxic Stall it with a Violet Rest Seadra. Ghetsis is next and he leads off with a Coffer-Gigas, and I set up a Light Screen with Beheeyem. I go into Lopunny and Agility twice, then Baton Pass into my Farfetch'd, which I thought was completely useless so far in this run. I Sword Stance up and get crit and get brought very low. Knowing the AI is going to heal, I Sword Stance up again. I rest up and use my Chesterberry, boosting Acrobatics' power from 55 to 110. I Acrobatics twice and take out the Coffer-Gigas. I OHKO the Electros and Hydreigon with ease. And then when Seismitoad comes out, I don't know if I'm going to die to Toxic or not, I wasn't really paying attention, so I'm able to just go Yanmega and Giga Drain. I dodged Muddy Water, but I would have gotten enough health back anyways from Giga Drain to be fine. Toxicroak goes down to Psychic, and Seadra brings Drapion low enough with 2 Surfs so that Lopunny can finish it off. A Night Slash crit was probably a death, but I didn't plan to bring Seadra and Lopunny to the Elite Four anyways. This Elite Four is actually really scary because now trainers have 5 Pokemon with great movesets and competitive items and just sets in general. Now it's time for the Elite Four. I can fight each member in any order, which is very nice, and my 6 is Wobbuffet, Hypno, Rhydon, Farfetch'd, Weezing, and Yanmega. Wobbuffet can 1v1 most Pokemon and is just great to have for its ability to Encore or just take a Pokemon out. Hypno is versatile and gets a shitload of good moves and has a great special defense stat and a good typing. Yanmega has an actually absurd type spread versus the Elite Four. It can hit Caitlyn, Marshall, and Grimsley super effectively with Stab, so it's a must bring. Weezing and Rhydon are both great physically defensive tanks, and Farfetch'd is better than you may think. I'm planning to try to sweep with it. After entering the Elite Four, I decided to do Marshall first. He's the easiest and can give EXP to my Pokemon for the harder fights. I just trade hits with Throw while keeping myself healthy with Black Sludge. I'm able to pivot Rocky Helmet Rhydon in on non-fighting moves and then go back to Weezing on fighting moves. Marshall heals, but I'm able to beat Throw. Lucario comes in and this guy is really annoying. I go Wobbuffet and slow Encore into Calm Mind, which gives me 3 free turns. This lets me go Farfetch'd and Sword Stance up and then Agility. Conkeldurr comes out, which dies, and then I wall Sock out with Weezing. Mean Shout comes in and randomly high jump kicks my Protect, letting me beat it with Sludge Bomb. That should be the easiest fight. I do Grimsley next because I don't think I'm going to have very many problems versus him as well. Even though Yanmega isn't Speed Boost, I'm able to Protect on Light Fake Out and outspeed it the turn after. Scrafty comes out and I 1v1 it with Weezing and Rhydon. They have a really good pivoting synergy, and Protect is such a nice move to have for leftovers and Black Sludge recovery. Crocodile I burn with Weezing and then go Yanmega to kill it. Bisharp comes out and I know it can't kill me. This does not stop it from critting and scaring the shit out of me, but Rhydon finishes Bisharp off, which might have been a mistake because Absol comes in next and can Night Slash me and crit me and kill me. However, it doesn't actually see a kill with the AI, so it just uses Sword Stance and then dies with Superpower. I position that not amazingly, but GG. Versus Caitlyn, I lead Hypno and Nasty Plot 3 times. I Light Screen so I have a better matchup versus her team and start to spam Shadow Ball. Sigilyph barely does any damage to me, and I'm able to beat that and Gothitelle by outspeeding it. Versus Metagross, I can get one hit off before risking a crit, so I Shadow Ball it and get into red, and then I go Yanmega. This baits is then Headbutt, and so I'm able to go Wobbuffet and let it die to its own Life Orb recoil. Versus Reuniclus, I can just go Bug Gem Yanmega and just click Bug Buzz and beat it. This is actually going pretty smooth. I had like nothing in my box for Choice Scarf, Chandelure, clicking Shadow Ball. I had a lot of Pokemon die to random trainers, especially in the Victory Road and just other annoying places, so I had almost no options. So, it's Farfetch'd time. My scheme here is to lower Coffer-Gigas' accuracy so I can set up as hard as possible and as riskless as possible. The idea is that once I actually lower the accuracy of Coffer-Gigas, the chance that it crits me goes down. I'm also able to paralyze it as well. I click Flash a few times and then I go Rhydon, because the only move that threatens me is Grass Knot and the AI sees a kill with Shadow Ball. I then go Hypno on the Grass Knot, except it doesn't click Grass Knot and it clicks Shadow Ball, but fortunately it misses. Crit kind of fucks my run up here, but I'm able to click Thunder Wave again and keep the odds low that it crits me. I keep flashing and it keeps missing. I then light screen up and go far-fetched. The AI clicks a bunch of dumbass moves, so now I can sweep. I rest simply because I thought I was Chesto Berry and I needed that for acrobatics, but I was flying gem so it was unnecessary. Regardless, I simply just sweep with acrobatics. Farfetch clutch up here. I have no idea what I would have done versus Chantal without it, but hey, that's why you play a game like this. So now we have the champion fight. I noticed when prepping that Rhydon actually easily 1v1'd a lot of Iris's Pokemon, but it does get chipped down during the fight. I decided to cook up a scheme where I would give it as many opportunities as possible in this fight. I lead off with Yanmega and Oko Hydreigon with Bug Buzz. Aggron comes in, and I go Rhydon and we trade Earthquakes, but mine kills. Now, my plan comes into play. Farfetch did his job and now it's time to beat the Elite Four. I go Hypno and light screen up. I then click Roleplay, which takes the target's ability. I remove my Insomnia, which prevents me from resting, and replace it with Water Absorb, letting me heal from Lapras's Hydro Pump. I use Hypno's Great Bulk to essentially PP stall the Lapras out of moves. I figure it's just out of attacks when it starts to only use Sing versus me. I go Rhydon and get Singed. That's no big deal because I can just rest. Nope. I actually didn't count PP right, / just forgot, and didn't realize that the Lapras still had Hydro Pumps this whole time. So my Rhydon that I was going to beat Archops and Hackstairs with is now dead. This was super not the plan, and right now I got a steer to be honest. I go get Mega and get Singed, and I try to wake up but I can't. I kind of just play terrible at this point and decide to prioritize Hypno getting Reflect, so I do. I try to go get Mega and force a wake up on the struggle, but decide to ditch this to go back into Hypno. I need another Reflect up long term to be good in this fight. However, at the same time, having a fully asleep Yanmega is bad because sleep turns get reset in Gen 5 when you switch. Hackstairs outrages me and fortunately I live and get up a Reflect. Hypno is faster than Druddigon, so I'm able to use it later and get one more screen up, which is honestly crucial. There's a very threatening Hackstairs on my screen though, so I sack my asleep Yanmega. I revenge the Hackstairs with Wheezing. I burn it and throw some Sludge Bombs at it. I try predicting a heal and fail, and then I get crit because why not? Hackstairs hits itself and I have to live with Wheezing versus Druddigon. I try to Will-O-Wisp it and miss because 75% accuracy is pretty low. It's almost Focus Blast, guys. I reflect up with Hypno and now have a Wobbuffet 1v2. However, it's actually easier than you may think. A Wobbuffet clutches it out with 3 counters in a row. This hack was actually great. There's a few things I thought could have been done better, namely TM distribution, but that actually got fixed in a newer version of the game. Before that, there was a lot of TMs that were inaccessible, but the hack dev actually just added those back. The difficulty curve of this game is really interesting. It starts out hard for the first 4 gyms, but is actually really encounter dependent. Clamperl makes Sharon free and Roxy way easier than with other starters. On a run where I had Onyx, Elisa was free, but when I didn't, she was really tough. Clay, Skyla, and Drayden are free. Drayden has the most potential to wipe you, I guess, but having 6 Pokemon versus 4 this late in the game when you can actually pick your best ones is pretty unfair. Marlin is more annoying than you may think, but once you realize Shell Smash Caracosta isn't fast, you're fine. After the first 8 gym leaders, the difficulty of this game jumps a shitload. Kyurem and Ghetsis are pretty hard and the Elite Four is very tough, and if you get bad luck versus it, you can easily wipe before you reach Iris. This is Gen 5 with 1/16 crit and 2 times damage crits, so crits and misses can compound and completely snowball your run in certain hard fights, specifically the Elite Four in my opinion. I highly recommend this hack to Unova fans and Nuzlockers. You don't even have to Nuzlocke this game. If you just want to use some funny Pokemon, you can go ahead and do that. Because it's challenge mode and the game has completely different encounters, it feels quite fresh, but it's not too different. My biggest gripe with the game is that the middle gym leaders, like I said, should probably have more Pokemon. I think some Pokemon are placed too early and some are placed too late. The Elite Four is really interesting because you don't have access to set up TMs, so you have to get creative. This kind of means that you have to use Pokemon that can naturally set up with their move pools, like for example, Hypno and Farfetch'd. But it makes you have to work for it and it makes you have to really plan out your team. I thought this hack was great. I used to do these ROM hack reviews on my channel, so I'm probably going to give this game an 8.7 out of 10. There's a few parts that get a little easy and the game is quite long, so on repeat runs after you wipe it's like, oh my god, I just have to get back, But if you turn animations off and use a lot of speed up, it honestly goes quicker than you may think. I really enjoyed this game. I hope there's a few more changes. I hope the game continues to evolve. But shouts to the hack dev, Leonora, I think I'm saying that right. She was very helpful and listened to a lot of criticisms I've had. A lot of people get defensive over their games when you tell them things you don't like about it, but she was honestly really, really cool and just implemented a lot of changes just based off what I said. I see a lot of other people playing and enjoying this game, so I would confidently recommend this to you. Don't forget to like, sub, and comment. My channel is small, so it means a lot to me. Also, it motivates me to make more videos. Like, you actually wouldn't even understand how much comments and likes and subs and all that mean to me. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was good. I have a few more videos I plan to make, but if you have any suggestions or anything like that, let me know. Anyways, peace. Thank you for watching.